This episode is sponsored by Noom. Lately, as the weather's been a little bit cooler here, it's a little bit easier for me to get out, go for a few walks. I'm trying to still be healthy, even though we are getting into winter for me. And I know that you guys are coming into summer, so maybe you're thinking more so about, making some healthier habits, kind of coming out of hibernation a little bit. So if you're not aware, Noom, who are leaders in behavior change weight loss, now offers a compounded GLP-1. The Noom GLP-1 program is affordable, starting at $149. Noom combines their proven weight loss program with GLP-1s so that you can lose weight and keep it off.
Noom is more than just meds. Noom's app comes with a number of features like protein tracking so you can ensure you're getting the right nutrients, and fitness classes so you can keep the muscle while losing fat. And with Noom, you won't be going it alone. You'll get access to a clinician, a coach, and a supportive community all from within the app on your phone. Ask your care team anything and get support with medication and side effect management. The Noom GLP-1 program starts at $149 and is delivered to your door in 7 days. Start your GLP-1 journey today at Noom.com. That's Noom.com. Noom, the smart way to lose weight.
Disclaimer, individual results may vary. Not all customers will medically qualify. No affiliation with Novo Nordisk Inc. Compounded medications are not reviewed by the FDA for safety, efficacy, or quality, not available in all 50 states.
The True Crime Society podcast contains adult themes and violence and is not intended for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised. And if you'd like to skip the intro or move to any specific part of the podcast, please refer to the timestamps listed in the episode description. Thank you.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the True Crime Society podcast with Stephanie and Olivia. It is May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. I didn't even realize,
Oh, yeah.
at all until just now. I should have gotten some Mexican food. 2025. And it is a Monday, different recording day for us because we have some scheduling conflicts. We're very busy gals. So yeah, we're recording on a Monday, which isn't as bad as I thought it would be, actually, because Mondays, even though it's like Monday, it's a little more of a chill day for me at work. I'm not like exhausted by the week already like I am on a Thursday, so I don't hate it. Like we said, it's nice to change things up sometimes.
Yeah, it is weird for me because I'm usually it's Tuesday here, so I'm usually at work Tuesday. So this is like midweek for me, and I'm like, wow, after today, like after we do this, then I've got like a few hours off, which is nice.
Yeah. The weather here right now, it's downpouring. It's gonna like rain for days, but I was lucky. Did have a nice weekend where it was hot. It was like 80 degrees. We had my nephew's first birthday party, which was Masters themed, like golf Masters, because his dad is a golf fan. So it was super fun. But I was like getting ready and I was sweating between being pregnant and it being 80 degrees and it being super humid. And since it was like the first really hot day, I don't have my air conditioners in yet. So that was fun. And I want to say I got him this little car toy. And I've been talking to Olivia about this for probably 2 weeks now because I thought it'd be fun to put it together to bring it all over in one piece instead of like in a box. Like obviously he's one, so he's gonna just like want to get right into it. It's like a little ride-in car. And it's by Little Tykes and it's an Amazon exclusive. It's like a dinosaur. And if you see it and you're thinking about getting it, never get it because putting this thing together, it does not look like it should be hard. And if you can't picture like what it is, just think of that red car with the yellow roof that's plastic that like all little kids had and rode around in. It's like that, just slightly different. Did not think it'd be hard to put together. This thing was the most difficult thing I've put together in my life. And that someone, like, I don't mind putting together furniture. I don't mind putting together stuff because it's kind of like nice for me. It's kind of like doing a puzzle. I absolutely hated this. Nothing came together. And then I'm halfway through it. You have to like hammer things. I'm like, this is a children's toy. Why am I hammering? Then I'm like halfway through and I'm like, none of the pieces are labeled or organized either. Like they will with IKEA stuff or different furniture things at least. Like you'll have a bag of little pieces and that'll be like part A and then like another bag of little pieces and it'll be part B and it'll tell you in the directions like use part A, use part B. This was just a mess. Nothing was labeled. So then I get to a part And it's like, oh, you have to use these bushings and this and that and these what are they called, washers. I'm looking through all the parts. I'm like, I swear to God, these parts are not here. So finally, I'm like, they're definitely not here. So then I look at the reviews online. People are like, oh, like it was missing parts, blah, blah, blah. So I contact the company, which is Lil Tykes. And luckily that part was easy. They're like, oh, yeah, no problem. Like, we'll send you the parts right away. It's going to take 7 to 10 days for them to fucking come. I was like, okay, whatever, I guess. At least we're sending them. So finally, a week later, the parts come. And luckily, I started this early. And I put them all in. I'm finally almost done. And it's missing one piece still. One of the ones I asked for, too, though. So it's like I needed 6 of the bushings. And for some reason, they only sent me 5, even though I was like, I have none of them. So I had to contact them again. I was like, I still need this one piece, please. So then they were like, we're so sorry. I was like, give me this car for free at this point, please. That didn't happen. They sent me the one piece. I got it together literally the day before the party, and it was done. And thank God I brought it there, and it was like his favorite toy. He was in it. He was smiling. He was laughing. He was having the best time being pushed around in it, and I was like, okay, it's all worth it now.
It's funny because my kids had those cars when they were little, but like the red, the brightly colored ones, not the dinosaur version, but the normal ones. And I feel like I was just given them. Like people either said, "Hey, do you want this? I don't want it anymore." So I never had to put it together, and it sounds like that was a lucky thing.
I thought it was something that would mostly come in one piece, like it's a big
I feel like
plastic car.
I would assume you just like click it in, like those ones where you just click stuff in. That's what I would have thought it would be like.
I don't. There was like metal pieces for the wheels. Like I said, I had to hammer pieces. I was like the roof came in like 5 different parts somehow. I was like, how is this even possible to be in this many parts? I do not understand. And I was like, my child will never be getting one of these. If he gets one, it is going to be the hand-me-down of this one that I put together.
I feel like they last forever, so you probably will be able to hand it down and hand it back on and off over the years.
Yeah, I'm going to be like, Shan, that's coming to my house when he gets a little bigger because that's my blood, sweat, and tears that went into that car.
Nightmare. I hate there's nothing worse when like you nearly finished and you're like, wow, I don't have that piece. It's not anywhere. I can't do it. Well,
then I thought I was being crazy and stupid because like I just had stuff all over. I'm like crawling around looking. I'm like, I must have misplaced it. And then I saw the other reviews that were like, oh no, it was missing parts. And I was like, this fucking thing. And really, I was like, I didn't even have to put it together. I could have just given it to them in the box. But like I said, seeing him get to play with it and be in it and push around in it, and he was like loving it. So I was like, yep, I'm the favorite family member, got the best present. Yep, that's me.
Is he walking yet?
Not like on his own. Like if he has something to just slightly lean on.
Thing. Yeah.
Like he's very quick as long as he has something to lean on a little. So like probably any day now.
Yeah. Well, very cute.
He's quick. He's speedy.
He's getting there.
Yeah. Anything exciting going on with you?
No, pretty quiet week here. We had like I think I mentioned because as we mentioned, we are kind of recording not too long after our last recording. So the weather is pretty good. It's cleared up a lot here. I think I said it was torrential rain last week. So this week is looking much better. The rain. Yeah, the rain's come to you. It is getting colder. Like we had the heating on this morning for a minute, so it is getting colder. But I do still feel like this is late in the year for it to be getting cold, so that's fine. I'm happy with that. But yeah, other than that, no, pretty quiet really. Not much happening. I was just saying to you earlier, the Dee Dee trial is about to kick off, which I feel like that's come around so quickly. Considering I think he got arrested in wasn't it around Thanksgiving last year? I just feel like that even though we've bitched about how slow time goes, I feel like that time period has flown by.
You think this one would have taken longer because it seems like there's so much going on with it, but
I feel like that's meant to go for like I don't know, I think like 5 or 6 weeks off the top of my head if I remember rightly. The mushroom murder trial is happening.
I was gonna say crazy that that's the same one, the same amount of time as the mushroom trial.
And hers was 2023, I'm pretty sure. Like I think it was July 2023 that she apparently killed those people. But if you're not familiar with that case, we did an episode a while ago on it. But there's a woman in Australia who allegedly found poisonous mushrooms and foraged them and dehydrated them and made beef Wellingtons for her in-laws and killed the majority of them. So she's now on trial. I have been following her. That's not televised. Like they never televise anything here. Everything's always under wraps. They just do those stupid court sketches for some reason, which I will never understand. But the last evidence I saw from that was that she she loved herself true crime. She was in some like true crime Facebook groups and they had group chats and things like that. And she actually asked her true crime friends if anyone had any recipes for beef Wellington and
No
told them
way.
how excited she was that she'd bought a food dehydrator and that she had been dehydrating tons of mushrooms and even putting them in things like brownies so her kids wouldn't know. So I'm like, wow. For someone who loves true crime, she was not very smart. Same as Brian Koberger. He was studying criminology or whatever. Not very, very
Yeah.
smart. But anyway.
Whenever like they say they're in a true crime Facebook group, I'm like, how is it not ours?
The one that she was specifically in, that I've heard, I don't know if she was in others, but the Aussies will know about this case. It's about a woman called Kelly Lane, and she was
She's in like a specific one.
Yeah, a specific one. She was convicted of murdering multiple children of hers, like, and there was always a lot of contention as to if she actually murdered the children or if they died like of sudden infant death syndrome and things like that. So that was the Facebook group they did mention in terms of Erin Patterson.
Yeah, I always just think like it should be our group because not to like brag, but ours was one of the first and biggest and like the original one anyways. Like we were the first. Maybe not the first, but like one of the first and the biggest. So I'm like, what do you mean they're in a Facebook group if it wasn't ours?
Yeah, and even when they always talk, like any other case too, like when I looked up if Brian Koberger was in our group, I always look up and see, and there have been some cases where the criminals are in the group. There was one, and I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but it was a woman, do you remember, and she killed the 2 kids with the dog leash?
Yeah.
She was in our group, like she hung them in her garage, and then she was in the group before she got arrested. There's been a few other ones, but yeah. So we do have another listener of the week. I'm proud we've kept this up for 3 weeks so far. I thought we would forget to do this, or
Well, we've been getting more good ones, so it's working. Yeah. It's benefiting us all.
So this was actually an Instagram message that we got, and I'll leave out her name just in case she doesn't want us to read it out. But she says, "Hey girls, name here. I've never given anyone a shout out like this, but I just wanted to let you know how much I love your podcast. I'm a 70-year-old grandma of 7 and I love true crime, but really just started listening to podcasts about 4 years ago when I retired. I was following true crime Facebook pages and would listen to some when they recommended, but True Crime Society was the first one I really liked. Part of what I like is the banter between you two at the beginning, so don't listen to the ones who say they don't like it. You tell them how to skip it, so that should be enough. You are still my favorite, and I love when a new episode comes out. Keep on keeping on, and I'll keep listening from Texas." That was so nice.
I love it. 7-year-old grandma listening to podcasts, like, go girl.
She's living the dream. That's what I want to do when I retire. Just listen to podcasts and read about whatever I want to read about.
And I love how she's like, you told them to skip it. They can figure it out. Like, yes, girl.
So yes, thank you. I've had some more lovely messages this week again, so really appreciate it. Keep them coming. This episode is sponsored by Noom. Lately, as the weather's been a little bit cooler here, it's a little bit easier for me to get out, go for a few walks. I'm trying to still be healthy, even though we are getting into winter for me. And I know that you guys are coming into summer, so maybe you're thinking more so about, making some healthier habits, kind of coming out of hibernation a little bit. So if you're not aware, Noom, who are leaders in behavior change weight loss, now offers a compounded GLP-1. The Noom GLP-1 program is affordable, starting at $149. Noom combines their proven weight loss program with GLP-1s so that you can lose weight and keep it off.
Noom is more than just meds. Noom's app comes with a number of features like protein tracking so you can ensure you're getting the right nutrients, and fitness classes so you can keep the muscle while losing fat. And with Noom, you won't be going it alone. You'll get access to a clinician, a coach, and a supportive community all from within the app on your phone. Ask your care team anything and get support with medication and side effect management. The Noom GLP-1 program starts at $149 and is delivered to your door in 7 days. Start your GLP-1 journey today at Noom.com. That's Noom.com. Noom, the smart way to lose weight.
Disclaimer, individual results may vary. Not all customers will medically qualify. No affiliation with Novo Nordisk Inc. Compounded medications are not reviewed by the FDA for safety, efficacy, or quality. Not available in all 50 states.
So today we're going to be talking about kind of a different topic. It was kind of brought to our attention by a listener named Brenda, it was, right?
Yep, Brenda, yep.
Brenda, she messaged about this case, and then I was thinking about it, and I feel like we talked about it in the past of having a topic of like lottery losers, because there's definitely been TV series about it, or you just hear stories about how people, they win the lottery and you think they should be on top of the world. They have all this money now. but then just bad things happen to them. There's like some bad luck. So we're going to do a series maybe. We can find a few other ones. I know there was another one someone sent in with a guy who like went missing after winning the lottery. So just a series of lottery winners who actually didn't seem to have the best luck. So today we're going to be talking about the murder of Abraham Lee Shakespeare, who's a Florida man. He won a $30 million jackpot in 2006, but he ended up being murdered in 2009. But the story of the murder is crazy.
Yeah.
He came across the scammiest of scammers, this woman named Dee Dee. It's like shocking.
It's always Dee Dee.
It seems, right? Dee Dee is a tough one. It seems never ending as you're going through this. The amount of cars this woman has bought and gotten rid of, and
houses, yeah.
Houses, and it's like, it's ridiculous. So
I feel like not to get ahead of ourselves, but a lot of the time when people win the lottery, they just don't know what to do. Like they, buy things and spend this money, and I feel like people who come from money are a bit more discreet about how they go around things, whereas someone all of a sudden has $30 million, I understand. I would be out there buying stuff too, but it kind of puts them in harm's way because they're more open about what they're doing. And people are more likely to come across and be able to take advantage of these people with their newfound wealth.
Yeah, it seems like one of his problems was that he just was nice and kind of wanted to help some people, and then it was like no good deed goes unpunished. But
yeah,
it's definitely, you hear people say that if you win the lottery, like definitely try not to tell anyone, like stay anonymous if you can. But
it's like that meme. It's
hard.
like if I won the lottery, I wouldn't tell anyone, but there would be signs.
But there'd be signs.
Yeah, I always think, like, I always dream about what I'd do if I won the lottery, and I always think I would never tell anyone. Or if I did, I would make it like for $30 million, I would say like I won like 500,000. Like I'd make it a much smaller amount or something. So
that's a good
you could
idea.
explain some things, but not enough to everyone to come after you and want
begging you for money.
Yeah.
State of Florida versus Doris Donegan Moore.
Stone-faced, unlike past tears or smiles.
The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder.
Dee Dee Moore simply shook her head no, while her victim's family nodded yes.
She had everything she wanted, and she still didn't have enough, and she took his life.
Jurors took 3 hours and 16 minutes to decide whether Moore planned to kill Abraham Shakespeare, once a lottery winner who deposited $13 million into a bank account. Witnesses say Moore stripped bare before killing him.
And this person that did this, you're going to be able to have a lifetime to think about it.
But family members saved their words for outside the courtroom. It was Judge Emmett Battles who spoke directly to Moore, a woman he scolded several times for her emotional outbursts.
Cold, calculated, cruel, they all apply. Manipulative, probably the most manipulative person that this court has seen. Abraham Shakespeare was your prey and your victim. Money was the root of the evil that you brought to Abraham.
And with that, he sentenced Moore to life in prison without parole.
If we're going to carry on, life must go on, one way or the other.
Okay, so we'll start with some background into Abraham. He was born on April 24th, 1966 in Lakeland, Florida. He struggled in life a bit. He couldn't read or write. He dropped out of school after 7th grade, and he went to jail for a string of burglaries. So it was off to a rough start for sure. He worked as a truck driver's assistant and was a casual laborer. According to ABC, he unloaded trucks, swept floors at a barbershop, doing whatever he could to get by. He was making $8 an hour in 2006. He also had 2 children named Moses and Jeremiah. On Wednesday, November 15th, 2006, Abraham and his co-worker, Michael Ford, stopped at a Town Star convenience store in Frostproof, Florida. They're on their way to Miami, and Michael planned to buy drinks and cigarettes. They were working for MBM Corp at the time, which was a food distribution company. Michael got out of the truck and asked Abraham if he wanted a drink. Abraham asked Michael to buy him 2 lottery tickets. Abraham would later say that he had $5 cash on him that day and that he gave Michael $2 from that for the tickets. Abraham won the $30 million jackpot from one of those tickets, and he chose to be paid a one-time lump sum amount of $17 million after taxes.
It's crazy to me, just to interrupt quickly, because here you don't get taxed on lottery winnings. Like you basically
Really?
you get the whole amount. So and to be fair, most of our jackpots are not as big as yours, just because the pool of
Mm.
people is not as big. But like, I think this week it's a $30 million Powerball. Yeah, so I'm just double checking to make sure I'm not giving you the wrong information, but I am certain that here, it says the good news in most cases, lottery winnings in Australia are considered tax-free. The tax office classifies lottery winnings as windfall gains, which means they are not subject to income tax. So here, you do generally get the whole entire amount.
Wow, that's nice. Yeah, here I think, as someone who's never won the lottery, I'm not an expert or anything, but I think it's, if you don't take the lump sum, you could pay less taxes, but you get paid the money over a longer period of time. But if you take the lump sum, you get hit with a little more taxes, but you get it all at once.
Yeah. And like, obviously, like things, if like you buy a house or car with your lottery and then you sell the house with your lottery winnings, you sell the house. You like, it's that stuff is all subject to tax, but just the actual money that you get is not. So if you just kept it in your bank account, that's it, yours free and clear.
So the troubles for Abraham started soon after his win. Michael approached him and demanded a share of no less than $1 million of his winnings. Abraham refused to pay this, and then Michael sued him in 2007 and alleged that Abraham had stolen the lottery tickets from his wallet. What a pain in the ass. I'd be seething with rage.
I'd
be like,
to
you
be fair,
dirtbag.
To be fair, I kind of understand Michael as well. Like, I would be pissed off. I'm like, because we'll get into it, but he also bought lottery tickets. So I'm like, imagine just be like, okay, well,
I'd be so pissed too.
Here's your $2 ones, and he took the ones that didn't win, apparently. So I know.
Yeah.
But
still
salty.
Scumbag move, because I'm assuming he went out and took his and then handed the other ones to Abraham. Or, I mean, either way, Abraham really didn't do anything wrong. It just fucking sucks. So Michael told the court that he had a habit of purchasing lottery tickets every Wednesday. He said that Abraham did give him $2 for the tickets. Michael said that he placed his own tickets in his wallet and put it in a compartment in the truck. He told the court that he noticed his tickets were missing on November 17th, 2006, but he just thought that he'd misplaced them. On November 18th, news broke that Abraham had won the jackpot. Michael alleged that there were multiple times during their delivery route in which the truck was unattended and that Abraham would have had the chance to steal the tickets. Michael said that when he confronted Abraham about the tickets, he admitted to taking them, but said there was no way to prove it. During court proceedings, Abraham denied all the allegations. He confirmed that Michael had purchased all the tickets, but that he had paid for his own and had not stolen anything. Abraham had told the court how Michael asked him for $1 million. He said that he asked him to wait at the time as he had not received any of the funds yet. But days after this, Michael threatened legal action. Abraham was emotional in court and said that he would have given Michael $250,000 if he had been genuine in his manner of asking. He said that he was disappointed because he considered Michael a friend. The case ended up being dismissed in Abraham's favor, and Michael did not receive any money from the winnings. Good. After Abraham received his money, he moved out of his working-class neighborhood in Lakeland and into a gated community. He purchased a home there worth $1 million at the time, now around $1.5 million. He bought a BMW and a Rolex from a pawn shop.
There are some photos of the house online. It is a beautiful house. Like, it's, I would probably call it a mansion. It's it's got 4 bedrooms, 13 rooms. It's 5,500 square feet. So maybe not a mansion, but a very big house anyway. But it's beautiful. It's like stunning.
It's like a mini mansion. Beautiful. It looks mansion-esque.
Yeah. Beautiful grounds.
Some nice palms.
Yeah, very, very nice. So it looks like a lovely place to live.
A lot of grass, a fancy driveway.
Yeah, and inside they've got lots of like chandeliers and I don't know what the word is, kind of very grand. Beautiful
An enclosed
staircase.
Pool.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind living there.
No, I would also.
So 2007 article in the Sarasota Herald Tribune spoke about how Abraham was choosing to spend his money. He said, "I'm not a material person. I don't let material things run me. I'm on a tight budget." He said on the day that he purchased the tickets, he gave his last $3 to a homeless man. He told the newspaper that he had created a corporation called Shakespeare and Associates and that he planned to create business ventures in real estate, rehab of homes, and affordable housing. So just to know, Abraham had money taken from him by the Department of Revenue due to child support arrears. They took $8,600 plus $505 in court costs. So then a woman named Centuria Butler comes into the picture. She started dating Abraham soon after he won the money. She was at a bar one night with friends when one of them said, "My cousin's a millionaire. Would you like to meet him?" What a
This is
pickup
kind of
line.
what I mean. Like, that is the behavior that is not going to attract the right people. Saying to
Yeah,
random
that's
people
so
in
true.
bars, "Hey, my cousin's a millionaire. Do you want to meet him?" Like, yeah, who's going to say no to that?
Yeah,
Anyone
and
will.
be like, "No thanks."
Yeah.
I like billionaires. They flew to New York City for an overnight trip, Centuria said. Neither had been on a plane before, and Abraham liked it so much that 1 week later they climbed on another jetliner and went back to New York for 2 days. Jumping ahead a little bit, Centuria and Abraham would eventually have a child together, but they broke up after 18 months together. Abraham said in a Herald Tribune interview that he had been hounded by people asking for money since his win. He told his brother, "I'd have been better off broke," and had told a childhood friend, "I thought these people are my friends, but then I realized all they want is just money." A reporter named Deborah Mathis, who covered the case, told 2020, "People did not hesitate to come to Abraham. I need money for my mortgage. They're going to repossess my car. I've got to bury my mother." Everything you could think of that someone needed. Abraham was also 6'5", 190 pounds, and people would spot him on the street. They would tell him stories of hardship. They would say that they couldn't pay their rent and that they and their children were about to be evicted from their homes. And being a nice guy, he would hand over the money. Centuria said, "He thought with his heart, not with his head." Even state inmates whom he had never met would send him letters from prison asking for money. As Abraham couldn't read, Centuria had to read them aloud to him, and she recalled a note from one inmate who asked for $1,000. She said, "We just laughed. What is he going to do with $1,000 in jail?" But Abraham wound up sending the man $50 still. Centuria's brother, Jeremy Reed, said that he was sitting with Abraham one morning. In one 30-minute stretch, Abraham's phone rang 8 times. Each time, it was someone asking for money. What a nightmare.
Oh, no. This episode is sponsored by Noom. Lately, as the weather's been a little bit cooler here, it's a little bit easier for me to get out, go for a few walks. I'm trying to still be healthy, even though we are getting into winter for me. And I know that you guys are coming into summer, so maybe you're thinking more so about, making some healthier habits, kind of coming out of hibernation a little bit. So if you're not aware, Noom, who are leaders in behavior change weight loss, now offers a compounded GLP-1. The Noom GLP-1 program is affordable, starting at $149. Noom combines their proven weight loss program with GLP-1s so that you can lose weight and keep it off.
Noom is more than just meds. Noom's app comes with a number of features like protein tracking so you can ensure you're getting the right nutrients, and fitness classes so you can keep the muscle while losing fat. And with Noom, you won't be going it alone. You'll get access to a clinician, a coach, and a supportive community all from within the app on your phone. Ask your care team anything and get support with medication and side effect management. The Noom GLP-1 program starts at $149 and is delivered to your door in 7 days. Start your GLP-1 journey today at Noom.com. That's Noom.com. Noom, the smart way to lose weight.
Disclaimer, individual results may vary. Not all customers will medically qualify. No affiliation with Novo Nordisk Inc. Compounded medications are not reviewed by the FDA for safety, efficacy, or quality. Not available in all 50 states.
It's sad because it seems like he knew hardship, like he struggled a lot in life, and obviously that probably makes him more sensitive, being like, in those times he wished someone could have given him money, so I'm sure he has a soft spot for people who are struggling.
And when you have like $17 million, if someone's asking you for 1,000 here and 1,000 there, you're like, yeah, okay. But it would be, never ending.
But then the problem is word gets out.
Yeah.
Like he's giving out money. In October 2008, a woman named Dee Dee Moore got in touch with Abraham through his realtor. She told him that she wanted to write a book about his life. But Dee Dee was not a writer. She owned a business called American Medical Professionals, which is a nursing staffing company. A little bit of history on Dee Dee. She was born on July 25th, 1972. She married a man named James Moore in 1992, and they had a son in 1995. In 2001, Dee Dee made rape and kidnapping allegations, which we'll get into in a bit. She also purchased a $50,000 2000 Lincoln Navigator in the year 2000. She put down that she was making $10,000 per month from her sales job and around $30,000 per year from selling Mary Kay products on the finance documents. So despite this apparent income, she fell behind on her car payments. First time it happened, Dee Dee told a GTE Federal Credit Union loan officer that her money had been stolen. She never provided a police report or a case number, according to the sheriff's office, but avoided repossession by making a payment in January 2001. The credit union came calling again in June, and this time Dee Dee had a negative balance in a business checking account and overdue payments on the car and a personal credit card. She owed nearly $6,500, according to investigative records. So when the loan officer contacted Dee Dee about this during a phone conversation in June 2001, she said, "You're not taking my car. I'll do anything. I have to keep it." And a few days after that phone call, Dee Dee filed what would be proven to be a false crime report. In the report, she said that 2 Mexican men had kidnapped her from a post office where she had gone to mail something for work. They bound her wrists and ankles with tape. They said they'd been sent to burn her alive in her car, but they wanted to keep it. She said they raped her, stole her jewelry, and dumped her in a ditch where passerbyers found her. She said, "The one in back finally made the decision not to kill me, but said he better never see me again and to dye my hair blonde." Okay. She went to the hospital in the Rape Crisis Center, and detectives took her pink sweater, blue jeans, bra, underwear, and fingernail scrapings into evidence. They would soon learn from a Nextel representative that Dee Dee had been banned from selling the phone company's products due to an internal fraud investigation. On June 26, 2001, a man named Michael Davis came forward and said that he had been paid $500 to store a Lincoln Navigator on his property. He said he became suspicious after seeing the news story about a woman with a Lincoln Navigator getting raped and kidnapped. He said he'd been told that the vehicle was going to be repossessed and that it might have been involved in an insurance scam. A man named Steve Rodella came forward saying that Dee Dee had been trying to frame someone who had apparently threatened to kill her. Dee Dee alleged that an employee at Nextel they just can't. Dee Dee had alleged that an employee at Nextel that she had fired had trespassed on her property. Steve said that Dee Dee wanted to create an incident that could be blamed on that ex-employee. It's like, girl, get a hobby that's not this.
This whole thing is very Sherry Papini and Lacey Overby and all that as well, where they just make up these ridiculous stories.
Yeah, like the Mexicans, they kidnapped me, and this Nextel. Also, like Nextel, vintage. So Steve said that he hid the Lincoln at Dee Dee's request. Another man named Clemente Bonilla said that he drove Dee Dee to the spot where she was found after her alleged rape and attack. She also has way too many people involved in this.
I know. Like she trusted too many people to keep their mouth shut.
He said Dee Dee taped her own wrist and threw herself from his white blazer. She ultimately, like, what is this guy thinking at the time? He's like, okay, Dee Dee, you do that.
See ya.
Yeah, bye. Oh, Peep's here, right in the microphone. If you can hear her purring. So she ultimately pleaded no contest to the misdemeanor charge and was sentenced to a year of probation. She filed for bankruptcy in 2002, so you can likely tell where this is going.
So after Dee Dee was introduced to Abraham by his realtor, she became close with him. They launched a new business together called Abraham Shakespeare LLC. By January 2009, the ownership of Abraham's new $1 million home had been transferred to American Medical Professionals, which was Dee Dee's company. In February 2009, Dee Dee bought a 2008 Chevy Corvette for her boyfriend for $70,000. She purchased it with a cashier's check from her business account. In March 2009, she bought a 2009 Hummer for $90,000. So that was March. April was last seen in Lakeland, Florida in April 2009. He apparently last used his cell phone on April 6th that year. Police believe that Dee Dee then began to stage events so that people would believe Abraham was still alive. She would send texts from his phone. She offered Santeria a $200,000 house if she would lie and say that Abraham had dropped by one night and was fine and alive. Dee Dee also paid one of Abraham's relatives $5,000 to hand deliver to his mother a birthday card, which was allegedly signed by Abraham. Despite all of this, by November 2009, Abraham's family began to become suspicious. His cousin Cedric filed a missing person report on November 9th, 2009. That's actually really sad to me because he went missing in April and it took them until, I know she was trying to keep up the ruse that he was alive, but no one spoke to him, no one saw him, and it still took till November for his family to report him missing.
Yeah, it reminds me obviously of Michael Shaver because it was kind of
Yeah.
similar and more similar as we get more information as the story goes on. But even with that case, she was lying to the family, Lori was, and trying to keep up
Sending
appearances that he was
texts
still alive.
So police first interviewed Dee Dee around November 12th that year. She told authorities that Abraham had gifted her $1 million and that was the money that she'd purchased the new vehicles with. She also told detectives that she bought Abraham's house for $655,000 and she also bought an additional $185,000 in debt that people owed him. The sheriff's office, though, could find no evidence that she paid for any of those things. Police interviewed Dee Dee again on November 24th. They asked her why Abraham had been removed off the LLC account, and she said it was because he didn't want to pay any taxes. She also could not give a reason why almost $1 million was withdrawn from the account days after Abraham's name was removed. By November 24th, 2009, the Polk County Sheriff's Office confirmed that Abraham was missing and they weren't able to get in touch or contact with him. Friends of Abraham said at the time that they hoped he had taken off with his money and was living peacefully on a tropical island in the Caribbean somewhere.
Have you seen this millionaire? His name is Abraham Shakespeare. This is him being interviewed after he won a $30 million Florida jackpot. He opted for the lump sum payment after taxes worth about $12 million. That was back in November 2006.
In the tiny town of Frostproof, Florida, it was at this convenience store that Abraham Shakespeare bought the lotto ticket that changed his life. But it's a life that officials now fear may have ended in foul play.
We first received information from a confidential source and confirmed it through some family members that, by the way, no one's seen Abraham since April the 7th.
Shakespeare did spend some of the cash, this $1 million luxury home in a gated community, and he gave money, lots of it apparently, to friends. And one of his friends, a woman who met Shakespeare and whose company later bought the mansion, made a videotape of Shakespeare in which he says he's tired of handouts and wants to get away. But the sheriff isn't buying it.
We initially thought maybe he left because he was tired of people tugging at him all the time.
Natural.
But as the investigation goes on, we've been through Christmas and New Year's. He's had absolutely no contact with his mother and his 8-year-old son, which we understand he loves dearly. We suspect the worst.
While officials develop leads, they're asking for the public's help, as well as hoping that their hunches are wrong.
If Abraham's alive and well someplace and sees this broadcast, simply let us know that you're alive and well and confirm that. We won't tell anyone where you are if you want to remain anonymous. We just want to close our investigation and go on to something else.
But officials say they think most of the money has been spent, saying every day that passes makes them lean toward a homicide case instead of that of a missing millionaire. Tony Winton, The Associated Press, Lakeland, Florida.
Authorities continued to question Dee Dee. In December, she told them that some of Abraham's assets went into her business account as he didn't want to pay any more child support. Across the investigation, she told authorities that Abraham had left town, and she also gave stories about him either going to Texas, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, or Florida. And she also said at one point that he was sick in hospital. So her stories were not, they weren't cohesive stories. She gave multiple stories with different locations and different things that had happened to Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
That same month, Abraham, or someone pretending to be Abraham, wrote to his mother saying that he was fine, but someone had forgotten that Abraham could not read or write. So that was a red flag for the family. On December 5th, 2009, Dee Dee sold her 10-month-old Hummer for $49,500, which is basically half of what she paid for it. She told the buyer that she needed quick cash. On December 27th, 2009, Abraham's mother, Elizabeth, ate a meal at a restaurant with Dee Dee. While the two were together, Elizabeth somehow got a call from someone pretending to be Abraham. So that seems a bit suspicious. She's with Dee Dee. Yeah, what a coincidence. The following day, a man named Gregory Smith was interviewed by detectives. He said that he had borrowed money from Abraham, and he had then been approached by Dee Dee and asked to make the calls to Elizabeth, pretending to be Abraham. Gregory told police that he would cooperate ongoing with the investigation and that he would kind of work with Dee Dee and not let her know that he was working with the police. In January of 2010, Dee Dee contacted Gregory again and asked if he knew anyone who would admit to police that they had killed Abraham. On January 21st that year, Officer Mike Smith from the Lake Wales PD in Florida went undercover. He was introduced to Dee Dee by Gregory. Dee Dee told the officer that she would pay him $50,000 if he told law enforcement that he was responsible for Abraham's death. Mike agreed to do this, but he said that Dee Dee needed to tell him first where Abraham was buried, so he kind of had more of the story when he went to police. But anyway, she apparently thought this was legit. A few days later...
Stupid. She's like the stupidest person.
A few days later, Dee Dee took Gregory to a home that she'd purchased and put in her boyfriend's name in Plant City, Florida. She showed him a newly constructed concrete slab in the backyard and said that Abraham was buried around 9 feet or 2.7 meters under the slab, which again, very Michael Shaver of them. Dee Dee also gave Gregory the revolver that she used to kill Abraham. She tried to concoct a plan for Abraham's body to be removed before police could find it. This info about that plan is from WTSP.com. It says, Sheriff G says that between December 28th, 2009 and January 21st, 2010, Dee Dee Moore approached an undisclosed witness inquiring of whether he knew of anyone awaiting sentencing to prison who would be willing to admit to the killing of Abraham in exchange for $50,000. Sheriff G says Dee Dee told that person they'd have to do something else in order to get the cash, that he and the other person would have to dig up the body and move it to another location. Detectives say Dee Dee started to set her plan in motion 4 days later. She met an undisclosed witness and provided a Smith & Wesson .38 caliber revolver and told them that it was the weapon that had killed Abraham. Later on that same day, detectives say Dee Dee took the person to the concrete slab and pointed out the location where the body was buried. She put a piece of steel bar on the slab to mark the spot, and it was agreed that the body would be removed from the grave that night at 8 p.m. Dee Dee said she was leaving a white in colour Ford F-150 pickup with an enclosed trailer attached to transport the body. She gave that person the keys to the truck and showed the contents of the trailer which she had purchased that consisted of a galvanized metal trough, bleach gloves, and plastic sheeting. Sheriff G says that Dee Dee admitted to detectives that she bought lime to cover Abraham's body when it was buried.
I just don't understand what even was her thinking. Like, who's going to admit to murder for $50,000? Like, how did she not realize she was getting scammed as, like, a fucking scammer?
I guess she kind of thought that maybe if they were already waiting sentencing, they had nothing to lose. But yeah, it's just a shoddy, half-assed plan. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So even though we just said that the sheriff said that Dee Dee had admitted to the lime thing, that did happen later. It was just part of the statement that they made at the time. Dee Dee was interviewed by police again on January 25th, 2010. She gave a story this time about not paying Abraham for his house because she said he had a drug problem and she was worried that he would buy drugs with the money. In late January 2010, police began to search at the site of the Plant City house. James, who was Dee Dee's ex-husband, told police that she had called him in April 2009 and had asked him to dig a hole in the backyard. She said she needed the hole to bury concrete and trash in. James said that he had dug the hole and then he left, and Dee Dee called him back 2 hours later and asked him to fill it in. James said that he did fill it in, but he couldn't see what was in the hole because it was dark. I feel like, again, this is a weird story. Like, if my ex was calling me out, I'd be like, whatever. On January 29th, 2010, Abraham's body was found buried at the Plant City property. A medical examiner determined that he had been shot twice, and the manner of death was determined to be homicidal violence. So Dee Dee was taken into custody on February 2, 2010. She was charged with first-degree murder and she pled not guilty. In December 2012, Dee Dee was convicted of the charge. She was sentenced to a mandatory life sentence without parole by a judge who called her cold, calculating, and cruel. She was also sentenced to an additional mandatory 25 years for using a gun in the commission of a felony. So Dee Dee is still kind of in the news, even though, she was sentenced in 2012. Well, she was convicted in 2012 and sentenced soon after that. She's still in the news. In 2023, she asked to be either released from prison or to be given a new trial, and this request was denied by the judge. This episode is sponsored by Noom. Lately, as the weather's been a little bit cooler here, it's a little bit easier for me to get out, go for a few walks. I'm trying to still be healthy, even though we are getting into winter for me. And I know that you guys are coming into summer, so maybe you're thinking more so about, making some healthier habits, kind of coming out of hibernation a little bit. So if you're not aware, Noom, who are leaders in behavior change weight loss, now offers a compounded GLP-1. The Noom GLP-1 program is affordable, starting at $149. Noom combines their proven weight loss program with GLP-1s so that you can lose weight and keep it off.
Noom is more than just meds. Noom's app comes with a number of features like protein tracking so you can ensure you're getting the right nutrients, and fitness classes so you can keep the muscle while losing fat. And with Noom, you won't be going it alone. You'll get access to a clinician, a coach, and a supportive community all from within the app on your phone. Ask your care team anything and get support with medication and side effect management. The Noom GLP-1 program starts at $149 and is delivered to your door in 7 days. Start your GLP-1 journey today at Noom.com. That's Noom.com. Noom, the smart way to lose weight.
Disclaimer, individual results may vary. Not all customers will medically qualify. No affiliation with Novo Nordisk Inc. Compounded medications are not reviewed by the FDA for safety, efficacy, or quality. Not available in all 50 states. This case has been in the media again because earlier this year there was a 2020 episode about it called Unlucky Numbers that aired in April this year. Dee Dee did speak in the episode. We'll maybe put a clip in here if we can find some. But basically, she is still arguing that her trial was not fair and just. She said there was no reason for him to pass away over money. I feel like there's a lot of ignorance in the world that does not understand that it was a one-sided trial. So I still don't really understand. With all this evidence against her, she had no way to prove that she had lawfully purchased these assets or lawfully purchased Abraham's house. She's still carrying on that it was a one-sided trial.
Dee Dee Moore was doing a lot of finger pointing today, blaming her attorneys, blaming a former witness, blaming even a drug dealer for sending her to prison. Dee Dee Moore is back in a Tampa courtroom demanding a new trial. During a hearing today, Moore blames her conviction on everyone except herself. She says mistakes made by her lawyers hurt her chances at freedom.
He put no defense on. Absolutely none. He was horrible.
Moore cried during her testimony and accused her former legal team of ignoring critical DNA evidence that could have cleared her name. She says the jury never even heard about it.
There's 3 DNAs on the carpet. No one understood after that trial. There was 3 DNAs on that carpet. No one in that courtroom understood that.
Moore was convicted of killing lottery winner Abraham Shakespeare and stealing his money. But in a handwritten letter to the court recently, Dee Dee Moore apologizes, quote, "I'm truly sorry to the prosecutor, Abraham's mom, and the others I have hurt for not being truthful. I regret my actions." But in the next breath, Dee Dee Moore denies being the killer and instead points the finger at key witness Greg Smith.
I was okay, and I was out of town.
Smith testified during her trial. He helped police by secretly recording Dee Dee Moore admitting to the murder and cover-up. She even asked Smith to help her.
She wanted me to call Abraham's mother and tell Abraham's mother that I was him.
But now Dee Dee says Greg Smith is the real killer. She claims he had a motive to kill because Abraham Shakespeare, she says, was having an affair with Smith's wife. Moore says she has a witness who could back up her story. However, in a huge setback, Moore learned recently that witness passed away.
She lists the officers' names to me.
On the recording.
On the recording.
But now we're learning there is a secret recording of that witness before she died, describing police corruption and kickbacks by the real killer, who Moore now says is a drug dealer.
They're being paid under the table because cocaine dealers can afford A lot.
After hours of emotional testimony, the judge set her ruling for another day.
She's just like shockingly dumb. I'm surprised how far she got with how dumb she was, but like
I feel like it did
it's
happen
all
fairly quickly.
snowballed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did happen fairly quickly. She like even he was murdered within, I think she met him in December of one year and then he was dead by April. So it did happen
I guess
fairly
it just
quickly.
seems like
She
so
moved
many
very
different
quickly.
events, but they all just happened so fast that it really wasn't that much time.
Sorry, I said December. It was October. So October 2008, she first tried to get in touch with him and he was dead by April. So yeah, a pretty quick turnaround, especially in terms of moving over all his assets, her stealing the money. I wonder if he realized what was happening, if he really thought this was part of the LLC corporation that he was trying to get going to, help those less fortunate. I don't know. No one has ever really said if he knew what was going on or if maybe, I assume what happened, reading between the lines, is that he found out and that he confronted her and that's why she killed him.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So a very interesting case. I guess it's one of the more high profile ones in terms of someone being taken advantage of another person after they've won the lottery. There are some stats online. Some of these stats are debated. One that I've heard a lot though is that apparently 70% of lottery winners end up broke within 7 years. This is quoted by the New York Daily News. There is an article by Forbes that kind of debunks that and says, actually, it's not true. But there is a lot of discussion about how kind of people often blow their winnings. They don't know how to use their money or how to keep their money when they haven't had it before. There was also this is a Reddit post, so just prefacing it's Reddit. It's not we obviously can't verify it, but it's very interesting. I just thought I'd read it out because, who knows? It could be, and I feel like it goes along with the theme that we're talking about. The person wrote, "Congratulations, you've just won millions of dollars in the lottery. That's great. Now you're fucked. No, really, you really are." And it goes on to say, large jackpot winners face double-digit multiples of probability versus the general population to be victims of homicide, something like 20 times more likely, drug overdose, bankruptcy, how's that for irony, and kidnapping. And then it goes on to say, and triple-digit multiples of probability versus the general population rate to be 1, convicted of drink driving, 2, the victim of homicide at the hands of a family member, 3, a defendant in a civil lawsuit, 4, a defendant in felony criminal proceedings. So I feel like absolutely, I don't know if those amounts, the probability numbers are absolutely correct, but I feel like absolutely you would be more likely, you've got more money for drugs and alcohol, so you probably are more likely to be involved in a crime along those lines. People see the money, so they're going to come after you in terms of the civil lawsuit or whatever the felony proceedings are. And homicide, obviously, people are jealous and envious, and that's why, if you won't give them what they want, they will think somehow they can take that money anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
So in this Reddit post too, they do list, I'm just estimating there's probably at least 20 cases where they've listed names and where horrible things have happened, or, what those things that we've mentioned have happened. Like, for example, Victoria Zell won $11 million in 2001. As of 2006, she was broke. So 5 years after she was broke, and she was serving a 7-year sentence for vehicular manslaughter. There was a man named Michael Klingbeil who won $2 million, and he was sued by his own mother after he failed to share the jackpot with her. Another person called Janet Lee won $18 million in 1993. As of 2001, she filed for bankruptcy with $700 in assets. So
yeah,
I feel like there's a lot of content here. Like, obviously not so much the bankruptcy things, because that's just people squandering their money. But there are definitely a lot of cases where people were murdered or taken advantage of because they won the lottery, essentially.
Well, I think this may be the nicer way to say it. I think a lot of people who play the lottery enough to win it, like, I get you could play it once and win, but obviously a lot of people, they play it kind of religiously. Like, even on this one, they said they bought tickets every Wednesday. It's people who are down their luck that, like, need the money. People who are already wealthy and, like, have money and know how to handle and manage having a lot of money. Like, they're not playing the lottery. So the people who are playing the lottery generally, not to say they're generally down their luck, but they're people who need the money. And this would be new to them, overwhelming. Obviously, they're excited to spend it. They get a lot of attention, and then once your name's out there, like what happened to Abraham, just people come crawling out of the woodwork looking for a handout, and then you're kind of just a target.
There was one interesting one that I read about a man named Billy Bob Harrell who won $31 million in 1997. In 1999, so 2 years later, he took his own life, and he said, winning the lottery is the worst thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
31
sad.
million. You think like, and I always like, I always dream. I'm like, wow, what would I do with $30 million? But it would bring a whole other set of problems that you would not even know about,
It's funny because even like listening to this now, I'm like, well, if I won the lottery, like I wouldn't have these problems. But I'm also like, well, obviously I'd probably buy a nicer house. I'd buy a nicer car. There'd be signs. And I'm like, I mean, I don't think I would like go crazy and then end up broke in a couple of years, but I guess you never know. I
You never
wouldn't. I would
know.
manage my money well, and I'd be responsible. So if the universe wants to let me win the lottery, that'd be great.
Just I won't go into too much detail, but interestingly, I actually know of 2 people who have won a fair amount of money in the lottery. I won't go into their details, but so I figure 3 times it's going to be me. It's going to be me soon.
Of course. That's exactly what that means.
Good luck. Bad things happen in threes. Good things must happen in threes too.
Yeah, we can hope. If the podcast suddenly stops one day, you'll know why.
You'll know that'll be the sign.
No, we'll just have even more time and energy to put into it, and we could do it just for fun.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like it is an interesting phenomenon how, like, I am always interested to hear what people do when they win the lottery. And, I love reading the stories where they're like, this person won it and they haven't, they've been unemployed for this amount of time and all they want to do with their $100 million is pay off their car. I'm like, that's a good story.
Yeah, like I like to say if I won the lottery, I really wouldn't need to live this extravagant life. I just don't want to work anymore.
Yeah. Like I feel like I would go, well, obviously we're getting off topic now, but like I would like probably hire a private jet and go on an amazing holiday. That would be one of the first things I'd do.
Yeah. Like do a couple things, but I'm not being like, oh, I'd be like living friggin' large every day of my life. Yeah. Obviously money goes fast. I'm like, I just want to live a nice, comfortable life and not have to work anymore. What would you guys do with your lottery winnings? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Or if you have won the lottery, let us know. You can remain anonymous.
Let us know so we can beg you for money and ruin your life. So that's it for this episode. If you guys know of any other interesting lottery ones, send them our way because we'll try to do a few more over the years as time goes on. It's definitely an interesting subject to hear what happens. Like you think you have it all after winning the lottery, but it seems like it comes with a lot of bad luck as well. So everything for this case will be on our blog at truecrimesocietyblog.com if you want to check out over there. Make sure you're following us on Instagram. We're always posting the latest news and all of that on True Crime Society on Instagram. If you want to see what we're up to, my Instagram is StephSum_, Olivia's TCS Olivia. And check us out on Patreon. We do weekly bonus episodes. We just did one about a very strange, mysterious death of a couple on Dawn and Andrew Searle, a very strange story, but every week then you'll get 2 episodes ad-free, and we release this episode, like the regular episode, a day early on Patreon. Plus we have some fun chats, like a book club chat and just crime chats, regular chat. I send pics of Peep, so like why wouldn't you want that? So check us out over on Patreon. And that's it. All the usual stuff. You can leave some nice comments on Spotify. We're always looking for our next listener of the week. And share your Instagram stories. We love to reshare them. We love to see what you guys are doing when you're listening to the podcast. That's always fun. And that's that. So thank you guys for listening. Stay safe out there. Peace out.
See ya.